as we promise you. We will just not teach you programming, we will prepare you that how to compete in programming field. So for that we need to build some habits and skills that are very necessary to become a good programmer. Maybe you will have read and seen all the things in books differently, but we will explain all this in a different way. So in this video we are going to learn how to build up basic skills that are needed in programming. Let's move on. I am not going to claim that writing computer programs is simple. Notwithstanding, we'll say that it isn't generally extreme for the intentions individuals regularly accept it's far. Writing computer programs is not a profoundly hypothetical concern like chemistry or physics. You don't need a modern confirmation to do well at it. There are imperative ideas of software engineering, yet it's doable to get a certificate in the wake of breaking down them and to have handiest, dubious considerations of the best approach to tail them to practical programming. Contrariwise, we'll delight in numerous fundamental PC innovation classes by method for the seat of our genes, without stupefying ourselves with outline documentation. There are a lot of the hit software engineers who don't have PC mechanical know-how degrees. Contrasting programming with some physical undertakings, programming does no longer require some intrinsic aptitudes or capacity. Similar to vaulting or painting or making a melody, you don't need to be solid or composed or wash or have best pitch. Programming does, be that as it may, require mind and craftsmanship, similar to carpentry or metalworking. On the off chance that you've ever taken a store grandness, you could consider that some understudies respected with an end goal to turn out delightful assignments resultously. In the meantime, as other undergrads were embarrassingly clumsy and made the correct blunders that the teacher told them not to make, what recognized the idiot undergrads turn out to be no more drawn out than they have been, higher than again more brilliant. However, essentially that they gave careful consideration to what changed into going on and have been more prominent, careful and arranged about what they have been doing. Potentially care and intrigue are intrinsic capacities as well as gymnastic capacity. A few things you do need are, first, consideration to detail, second, stupidity, third, great memory, and, fourth, ability to digest. Think on a few levels. How about we take a gander at these qualities in more fine-grained detail? Consideration to detail. In programming, the points of interest matter. PCs are unimaginably doltish. More on this in a moment. You can't be dubious. You can't portray your program 3/4 of the way and afterward say, comprehend what I mean, and have the compiler make sense of the rest. You need to dab your I's and cross your T's. On the off chance that the dialect says you need to pronounce factors before utilizing them, you have to. On the off chance that the dialect says you need to utilize enclosures here in square sections, there in squiggly props some third place, you need to. Idiocy. PCs are unimaginably idiotic. They do precisely what you instruct them to do, no more, no less. In the event that you gave a PC a container of cleanser and instructed it to peruse the headings and wash its hair, you would be wise to make sure it was a major jug of cleanser, since the PC will wet hair, foam, wash, rehash, wet hair, foam, flush, rehash, wet hair, rehash. I saw a promotion by a microchip maker proposing the smart sorts of apparatuses we'd have later on and contrasting them with dumb apparatuses like toasters. I trust they had it in reverse. A toaster, an outdated one, anyway, has 2 controls, and one of them is discretionary. On the off chance that you don't set the dimness control, it'll do as well as can be expected. You try not to need to let it know what number of cuts of bread you're toasting, or what kind. When you're customizing, it can think as idiotically as the PC does, so that your morally justified outlook for determining everything in moment detail, and not accepting that the proper thing will happen unless you tell it to. It is not necessarily the case that you need to indicate everything. The general purpose of an abnormal state programming dialect like C is to take a portion of the abuse word trouble off the developer. A C compiler will intuit a couple of things. For instance, on the off chance that you relegate a whole number variable to a coasting point variable, it will supply a change consequently. Be that as it may, you need to know the rules for what the compiler will expect and what things you should indicate unequivocally. Great memory. There are a huge amount of things to recall while programming. The etymological structure of the tongue, the course of action of prewritten limits that are open for you to call and what parameters they take. What components and limits you've portrayed in your program and how you're using them. Frameworks you've used or seen as a part of the past which you can apply to new issues. Bugs you've had in the past which you can either endeavor to keep up a key separation from, or if nothing else see by their appearances. The a more noteworthy measure of these unobtrusive components you can keep in your brain at one time, as opposed to finding each one of them the time, the more productive you'll be at programming. Our fourth option, ability to digest, think on a few levels. We will learn this in our next video with details, so please stay tuned to us. If you like our video, then press the like button on YouTube. Don't forget share our videos with your friends. Please subscribe our channel and get new video updates in your mailbox. Thanks for watching and keep visiting.